Ernst & Young's combined worldwide 2011 revenues for the year ending June 30, 2011 were $22.9 billion, increasing 7.6% in U.S. dollar terms from the comparable period in fiscal year 2010 of $21.3 billion. The firm noted strong growth in all four geographic areas, revenue increases in all service lines, historically high headcount, and new high-profile audit clients. Growth was largely organic, with acquisitions adding only 0.5% to annual growth rates. However, despite this strong growth, in relative terms, the firm grew at the slowest pace among all four firms from 2010 to 2011. KPMG, its newest rival, grew at the fastest pace, narrowing Ernst & Young's 2011 revenue led only to $170 million. Assurance Services, with 2011 revenues of $10.6 billion, was up 5% from 2010 revenues of $10.1 billion. Global Tax Services, with 2011 revenues of $6 billion, was up 6% in U.S. dollar terms from 2010 of $5.7 billion. Advisory Services, with 2011 revenues of $4.3 billion, rose a strong 17.5% from $3.7 billion in 2010. Transaction Advisory Services, with 2011 revenues of $2.0 billion, grew 7.7% from $1.9 billion in 2010. In terms of geographies, Americas had 2011 revenues of $9 billion, which increased 7.3% from 2010 revenues of $8.4 billion. Europe, with revenues of $10.1 billion, was up 5.5% from 2010 of $9.6 billion. Asia Pacific, with 2011 revenues of $2.5 billion, was up 18.4% from $2.1 billion in 2010. Japan had 2011 revenues of $1.3 billion, up 8.3% from 2010 from $1.2 billion. Brazil saw organic revenue growth of 26%, while India grew 22%. Africa was up 19%, Chinese revenues zoomed 18%, and CIS grew 16% from 2010 to 2011. Ernst & Young made a key change to their reporting of revenues in 2009, electing to show combined, not consolidated revenues by eliminating intra-firm billings. A detailed performance PDF analysis can be downloaded at www.big4.com/analysis. You may reproduce or distribute parts or whole of this analysis, but prominent and full attribution should be given at all times to the 2011 Big Four Firms Performance Analysis by www.big4.com.